Students, I welcome you in today's session of physics. As you know very well, we were discussing a topic, radioactivity, which is your chapter number 28. And in this chapter, lecture number 1, we had already covered most of its topic. Now in today's lecture, we are going to take the half-life. You can see here, this is the topic number 4. And we have to talk about this half-life. What is half-life? So the atoms, you can see here, of a radioactive substance undergo continuous decay so that their number goes on decreasing. So the time interval in which the mass of the radioactive substance or the number of its atom is reduced to half of its initial value is called the half-life of that substance. So this is the definition of half-life. Now the half-life of a radioactive substance is constant, but it is different for different substances. So if the half-life of the radioactive substance be capital T, then after time capital T, the mass of the substances will be reduced to half. And after time 2t, that is 1/4, after time 3t 1/8, and the time 4t, it remains 1/16 of its initial value. So this can be seen by an experiment. You can see with the help of this experiment in figure 2. This is the figure number 2. What's going on here? In figure 2, a gas named radon, whose atomic 222 is filled above mercury in a capillary tube at a constant pressure. So this is a radioactive gas, and its atoms are decay into the atom of a solid substance and are adhered to the walls of the tube. So the half-life of this gas T is equals to how much? 3.8 days. So if the gas is left for such the tube, then due to the radioactive decay, its volume start decreasing. Suppose the initial volume at T is equals to 0 of the gas is V. So we find that after time T, that is 3.8 days, its volume become V by 2. And after 2t time it become V by 4, and so on. After 3 time it become V by 8. Clear? That is, its volume goes on decreasing. So if we plot a graph between the time and the volume of the gas, this is an exponential curve. This is, you can see here. So just remember the what kind of curve you will get. You will get a exponential curve. Now what is the relation between the half-life and the decay constant? This is the most important one. So let n0 be the number of the atom present in a radioactive substances at time t is equals to 0, and capital N be the number at a later time t. Then according to the Rutherford-Soddy law, which we have already discussed in our chapter number lecture 1, n is equals to n0 e to the power minus lambda t, where lambda is the decay constant or radioactivity disintegration constant, you can also say it. So for the substance, if the half-life of the substance be capital T, then the time t is equals to t, and the number of the atom will be left is equals to how much? N0 by t. So putting t is equals to t and n is equals to n0 by 2 in the above equation, so we will get here n0 by 2 is equals to n0 e to the power minus lambda t, or if you cancel out n0 from both the sides, so this comes out to be 1 by 2 is equals to e to the power minus lambda t. Clear? Or you simply said that taking the inverse e to the power lambda t is equals to 2, and if you taking the log from both the sides, then it comes out to be lambda t is equals to log e2, this one. Clear? And finally you will get the expression t is equals to log e base 2 lambda, or you can write it 0.6931 value of log 2 base e 0.6931 by lambda. So this is the relation between the half-life and the decay constant. Now the half-life of the radioactive substance cannot be changed by any physical or the chemical means. The half-life of isotopes of lead is 26.8 minutes. So if the isotopes forms one compound by chemical combination, even its half-life will be 26.8 minutes. Clear? So just remember the formula. This is the important one, and you have to solve this numerical also over this. I hope you understand it. So the half-life of a natural radioactive substance and their isotopes vary from fraction of a second to the hundred of millions of years. The half-life of an isotope polonium is this, that is 10 to the power minus 5 seconds, whereas the half-life of the uranium 92 uranium to 38 is 4.5 into 10 to the power 9 years. Clear? So this is the half-life. Now I am skipping this estimation of Earth age by half-life of the radioactive substance and coming to the activity of radioactive substance. This one. So the rate of the decay of a radioactive substance is called the activity R of the substance, and it is given by R is equals to minus dN by dt. You know very well the Rutherford-Soddy law. The rate of decay of a radioactive substance at any instant is proportional to the number of the atom of the substance left at that instant. So you can write it minus dN over dt is proportional to n. Therefore, the activity of the substance at any instant is also proportional to the number of its atom left at that instant. So you can write it R is proportional to n. Now suppose initially at time t is equals to 0, the number of atom in a substance is n0 and the half-life of the substance is capital T. Then after one half-life, the number of the atoms left in the substance will be n0 by T. That is the number of the atom at time t is equals to capital T. You can write it like n is equals to n0 by T or n0 1 by 2 ki power half. Clear? So after 2 half-life, these are the numbers. You have to put the values. Here you can put the 2 half-life, after that 1 half-life, then 2 half-life, then 4 and 3, then 4, then finally the expression and the number is, you can calculate the half-life using this formula, n is equals to n0 1 by 2 to the power half, means n, where n is, you can take the half-life 1, 2, 3 and 4. So clearly the number of atoms of a radioactive substance, that is the radioactivity of the substance, decreases with time. So the decrease in the exponential as shown by the graph, you can see with the help of graph, there is exponentially decrease in the graph. The number of atom left in a substance or activity after in the time t, the half-life of the substance can be read from this graph. Clear? Now come to the mean or average life of a radioactive substance. So radioactive decay is a statistical process which atom of a radioactive substance will decay when it cannot be forecasted. So an atom may take from 0 to infinite time to decay. So here you can see that the average of the life of all the atoms in a radioactive substance is called the mean life or average life of that substances. So it is denoted by tau. Clear? So it can be shown that the mean life of the radioactive substance is equal to the reciprocal of the decay constant, or you can write it tau is equals to 1 by lambda. Clear? Where you know variable lambda is equals to 0.6931 by t, where t is the half-life of the substance. So in place of lambda you can put this value, and finally you will get the relation between the mean life, that is tau is equals to t by 0.6931, or you can write it 1.443 of t. So thus the mean life is longer than the half-life. From this expression you can say that. The reason is that the last few atoms of the radioactive substance has very long lives. Clear? Now we will talk about what is the unit of radioactivity. From the, you can see here the unit of radioactivity. So the activity of the radioactive substance is measured by the rate of disintegration of the substance. The traditional unit of the activity is Curie, and the Curie is defined that 3.6 into 10 to the power 10 disintegration takes place per second in a radioactive substance. Then the activity of the substance is 1 Curie. There is the relation between 1 Curie equals to how much? 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 disintegration per second. And 1 Curie, you can, there is a smaller units, millicurie and microcurie. You can write it 10 to the power minus 3 and micro 10 to the power minus 6. And you can easily put the values. Another units of the activity is Rutherford. So 1 Rutherford is equals to how much? 10 to the power 6 disintegration per second. This is the important unit, so just remember it. Another one unit is also is becquerel. So 1 becquerel equals to 1 disintegration per second, and you know very well 1 Curie equals to 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 becquerel. Clear? Now you can see here we will discuss, not in the very deep, explanation of alpha, beta and gamma decay from radioactivity nuclei. So what is alpha decay? The emission of an alpha particle from a radioactive nucleus is called its alpha decay. Clear? After that you can see here, therefore when an alpha particle is emitted from the nucleus of a radioactive atom, the atomic number Z decreases by how much? Decreases by 2 units. This thing I already told you in the above topic, and the mass number A decreases by 4 units. So just remember that what happens if an alpha particle is emitted from the radioactive material, then its atomic number decreases by 2 units and the mass number decreases by 4 units. Clear? Just see this example also. I hope you understand. Now come to the and finally, if you will still have any doubt, you can see this example also. Z is the parent element, and when an alpha particle is emitted, you can see here the atomic number decreased by 2 units and the mass number decreased by 4 units, and this is the alpha particle's emission. Now come to the beta decay. What's happened with the beta decay? The emission of the beta particle from the radioactive nucleus is called beta decay. Clear? Now what happened if the beta particle is emitted from the nucleus? Secondly, you can say here beta particle emitted from the nucleus have a continuous distribution of energy between 0 and maximum value. Clear? So then how to do the energy and the momentum remains conserved. So Pauli in 1930 gave the correct explanation. He suggested that at time of emission of beta particles, that is electron, a neutron in the nucleus is converted into a proton, and in this process a new particle called the antineutrino is also originated. So the emission is represented by the following equation. Clear? And what happened when beta particle is emitted? You can see here, when a beta particle is emitted from the nucleus of the radioactive atom, the atomic number, which is capital Z, increases by 1, while the mass number A, that is total number of nucleons, remains unchanged. That is, there is no change in the mass number, but there is a change in the 1 unit increase of atomic number. You can see this figure and you can understand easily what is the effect of when a beta particle is emitted. Or you can see this figure also, this one. Clear? Now I'm moving to the gamma decay. What happened with the gamma decay if a gamma particle is emitted? So the emission of gamma rays along with the emission of alpha or beta particle from a radioactive nucleus is called the gamma decay. Clear? So skipping all this, just you can see from the graph here, and there is no change in the atomic or the mass number. This is the most important one by the emission of gamma rays. Clear? So I hope you understand what effect over the nucleus when an alpha particle and beta particle and the gamma particles emitted from the nucleus. Clear? So students, this is the end of this chapter, and if still you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Clear? We will meet with the next lecture with a new chapter. Till that, do study. Thank you class. Thank you very much.